Welcome to this month's edition of What's New in QuestionPro CX.
So in the month of July, we got some major items done. So first one out of it is the bulk selection of manager in push metrics report. So those of who don't know, push metrics is basically a functionality wherein you can send reports to the managers at a certain frequency. So let's say you have a set of managers who are using the dashboards frequently. So you know that dashboards is a critical component of any customer experience management platform. So if there is some requirement wherein the reports for a particular date range has to be sent to the managers in a particular frequency, then we use push metrics. So this is a push metrics screen that you can see for scheduling the report. So you have to first select the dashboards, and accordingly you will get a list of managers who have access to the dashboard. So earlier you had to every time you want to send a report to a particular set of managers, you had to select it one by one. So this is a tedious process when you have hundreds of managers. So that's why we have added a select all option now, as you can see here. So this option will enable for the bulk selection of managers. So this is a small enhancement that we did. The next thing that we did was some of the API enhancements. So this has been batch survey URL has been a requirement for the longest time now. So what this API does is it's very similar to the get survey URL API, except that it returns the output in batch format. So get survey URL API basically returns for a given information or a given payload, which can consist of the user details or respondent details and transaction details. You will get a survey URL. But what if you want to in a workflow that the client have, or a custom mechanism that the client has, they want to send a bunch of survey URLs. So they have to hit get survey URL API, let's say thousands of times, and you know that there is a cost associated with API. Therefore clients were not comfortable using this kind of mechanism, and they wanted a single API which could return a batch of survey URLs. So we have added support for that. So you can send the payload, like you can send the details in the batch format for all the transaction and respondents, for which a survey URL has to be generated, and in response you will get all the survey URLs within a single API call. So the documentation is available in the API docs. You can go and check it out. The next thing we did is we have added a search by respondents API. We have been consistently, as and when we get time, we are adding new APIs. So this is one API that we have added. So what this API does is it allows you to search respondent details by email address or first name. So you can give in the search field, you can provide the email address and you will get the respondent details for that email address. So again, this API, how to use it, what is the request and response body format, you can get in the API docs. Then the next thing that we did is seamless transaction details export with the workflow process. So we have been getting a lot of requirements regarding APIs, downloading of the survey URL. So there are a couple of ways that we can do it. One is through APIs and one is through Excel, right? So we have added support for both of these if you see in this July sprint. So one is the API batch survey URL API that I already explained, and the second is Excel export. So we have added under the deploy tab, as you can see here, we have added an import metrics tab. What does it mean is in this tab it will give you an ability to download the survey URLs in bulk for a given transaction import. So let's say you imported a set of transaction between a certain time frame, like as you can see here, there is a started at and completed on. So within this time frame you imported a bunch of transactions, and for those transactions, then if you want to generate the survey URL, you can just click on the Excel report, and you will get the survey URLs along with few details and from the transactions. So I can show you here. So you can go here. Here is the deploy tab. Here you can see import metrics, and here you can see the Excel export option. So you can just click on the export option, and it's a simple Excel that you get, and you can download it. So again, that is an important enhancement that we did. Okay, then the next thing that we did is enhance intercept trigger logic based on the data layer values. So to understand this enhancement, we'll have to first take an example for a user and its customer journey, or a customer journey of a particular user. So let's assume that you go for doing some online shopping on an e-commerce website, right? So as a user, you first go and arrive on the homepage of that e-commerce website, right? And when you browse through the entire website, you click on various product categories, you are interested in some products, you go and you deep dive into the product, so all the user behaviors, all the user actions, the pattern in which the user is making interactions with the website is recorded at the application layer. So any specific technique like cookies or any other mechanism the particular e-commerce website may be using. Now let's consider an example that you see that a user is interested in a product category and views us and makes a purchase. Now you want to trigger a survey for that user based on the user behavior. To take a very specific example, let's say the website is configured to trigger a survey if a user is interacting or staying on a particular product page for more than 2 minutes. So in that case, that these values are calculated, the user time spent is calculated, and based on that a pop-up survey will occur. So this is what we have supported now. So any type of values that are available at the application layer or data layer can be used to trigger our intercept surveys. So this is a very powerful enhancement that we have done. Now how to do it? So let's say there is this website that we have, and so all you have to do is that e-commerce client will have to implement our QuestionPro intercept function, can load QuestionPro intercept, for example. So in this case, let's say what we have done is, if the language selected for a given website is English, then trigger a survey. Very simple example. So the language set is English, and here, as you can see here, we are basically triggering a pop-up survey when the language set English is matched. So similarly, any type of user values can be manipulated and played with, and based on that the intercept surveys can be triggered. The next thing that we did is some enhancements in our dashboards and widgets. So first one is improve trend widget, enhance time accumulation. So our trend widget currently, if you see, it plots the data for a specific time metric. But what if we want to see the trend, let's say an NPS trend on a weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly or yearly basis? So there was no functionality to do that. So now we have added it. So I can quickly demo it to you. So let's say I will go to the analytics tab, and I'll just add a trend widget. and these are the surveys that I have selected. So this is the new thing that we have added, time metrics. So let's say I want to see the weekly trend. So I'll just save it. And now you can see that on a weekly basis, you can see the NPS trend. Okay, so the next thing that we did is crosstab widget. So crosstab widget, again, it's a very popular and very powerful widget that helps you, do a comparison between various parameters and make mindful decisions. So here in CX, we did not have crosstab widget earlier, so we have added it now. So this widget is again very simple. You can just come here, and this is I have already added. So this widget, you select the survey, you select the column 1 question, column 2 question, column 2 options, then in the row you can select another question, and these are the values for the rows. So you can make changes as you want. The criteria is similar: segment and segment, product group, custom variable. So here you can basically see a comparison between two parameters and their values. So the comparison is can be seen in percentage format, or if you are interested in, let's say, numeric format, then you can just turn on this toggle. Okay, so this is the crosstab widget that we have added. Then the next thing that we did is we have added a word cloud widget. So again, this is a very powerful widget when it comes to unstructured data. So this widget is, again, I've added it already. So it's available here. So you go to add widget, and at the survey level you'll get a word cloud widget. So you select the question for which you want the word cloud to be created, and it will basically create a word cloud for you. Okay, all right, then after that we have made some enhancement to the custom mean widget. So I'll go into the platform only to explain. So let's say this is a mean widget that I have added. So what you can do here is that we have in the previous month we have added this option that you can select the rows or deselect the rows and columns according to your choice. So if I want to remove certain rows or certain columns, I can do that. Now with columns, what we have given an additional option is you can set the value for each column. So let's say these are the values that I have added for a given question that are available, like very dissatisfied, not satisfied, neutral, satisfied, and very satisfied. Now if I want to map a value to these columns, then I can do that. Like by default it will take default values, but if you are planning to, or if you have a use case wherein you want to map some custom values to these columns, then also you can do that. Like I can let's say if I want to map these values like this, so I can do that. So let's say I save it, and accordingly the mean will get calculated with whatever value I have mapped. Okay, and again the exclude option still remains the same, except that for columns, now here there is a checkbox added. So if you want to deselect certain values, you can do that. So you can just deselect it. Okay, so that's what we did for custom mean widget. Okay, then the important thing that we did is the enhanced closed loop integration with the CX core platform. So this is an important and long pending integration that we have been working on. So you know that enhanced closed loop is live and it is available through the CX product switcher. So we did the integration in three touch points, I would say. So the first one is enhanced closed loop will not be available directly to anybody who has a CX annual license. So what they have to do is will have to first purchase it. So what do I mean by purchase is they will have to generate an invoice and add it as an invoice line item. So here we have got added in the line items. You can see that the enhanced closed loop is added. and you can give the price for that and generate an invoice, mark it as paid, and then only the enhanced closed loop will be get enabled in the products feature. So here you can see that currently it's in locked state. So once it's enabled, then it's available to all the accounts and the sub accounts. But if you want to exclude a particular sub account from accessing the enhanced closed loop, then you can go and do it from the user settings. So you can see that in the action tab you have the closed loop and enhanced closed loop. By default they will be enabled once you have purchased it, but for a given sub account you can go and disable it, so then that sub account won't be able to access it. And for the you know that in case of CX there is a manager portal. So once you have purchased an enhanced closed loop, it won't be available to the managers directly. You will have to give a manager a permission to access it. So you can come here in the manager settings and you can give an access. Just like closed loop, you will have one more option, enhanced closed loop.
For the full list of what's new in QuestionPro CX, check out our release notes in our updates page.